What does this tiny knife and these underwear and whatever this is have in common? They all cost less than $50 and made my life better. And that's what this video is all about. So let's just get into it, starting with clothing. First up, a braided belt. This is the most versatile type of belt. It's micro adjustable, it goes with any casual outfit, and it lasts forever. Plus, many braided belts these days have a bit of stretch built in. If you buy one in tan or navy or gray, you can wear it with pretty much any pair of pants. It also goes with any shoes and any other accessories. If you get yourself a braided belt and maybe one leather belt, that's all the belt you'll ever need. Next up, Uniqlo Supima cotton t-shirts. I still struggle to find a t-shirt that works better for my build and that offers better value for the money than the Uniqlo Supima cotton crewneck tee. This is a size extra small, but I can wear a small too. This was like $20. I think now they're $25, but they're often on sale. This one is like 4 or 5 years old and I still wear it. It's 100% Pima cotton. It shrinks a little bit, but not too much. You could throw them in the dryer, or if you want them to last a little longer, air dry them. It's my go-to t-shirt, but of course Uniqlo makes a bunch of different t-shirt styles. I made a video comparing all of them, so go check that out. Premium quality underwear. If you're used to paying $15 for a multi-pack of boxers, then like $15 or $20 for one pair might seem expensive. And yeah, it's pricey for underwear, but the actual dollar amount isn't that much. It's like one fancy cocktail or 3 lattes or one visit to an airport Panera. Plus the cost per wear is still very low, and you're gonna be happier every day when you put them on, and your partner will be happier every night, if you catch my meaning. I do think that there are diminishing returns. Like, I don't think that a $30 pair of underwear is that much better than a $20 pair, but there are many great brands in the $20 to $30 range, and I will link to a few of my favorites in the description. Next up, good matching hangers. Your hanger collection might look like this. You know, you have some from the dry cleaners, and then some plastic ones left over from college, and then, you know, a couple of nicer ones. But a nice set of good matching wooden hangers is just so satisfying. At the very least, you want to avoid using those wire hangers that you get from the dry cleaners. They're really bad for your clothes. Upgrade to plastic, or better yet, wood. For your jackets and coats, you can get those thicker wooden hangers with the curved shoulders. You can get some clip style hangers for your pants. For everything else, I pretty much just use these basic wooden hangers, and they're not even that much more expensive than the plastic ones. There's something about having matching hangers and the right hanger style for each type of garment. It's just so easy on the eyes, you know? I could be a little OCD. It does run in my family on my maternal grandmother's side. I should probably talk to somebody about that. Speaking of which, I want to introduce today's sponsor, BetterHelp. As a psychology major, I've always been a firm believer in the power of therapy, but it wasn't until I became a parent that I realized how valuable it could be for me personally. The transition into parenthood is a whirlwind. I found myself struggling with the demands of raising 2 young children and also trying to maintain my own health and well-being. Going from no kids to 1 kid was difficult, but when the second kid arrived, it was like my world was turned upside down. It's like suddenly I had this full-time 24/7 job on top of my regular work, and all the responsibility and worry that comes with being a parent can be overwhelming. I found myself with much less time for the things that used to recharge my batteries, like exercise or hobbies, or honestly, just relaxing and doing nothing. You know, date nights become a rare luxury. Like, my wife and I will often have to cancel or reschedule because a kid is sick or we can't find a babysitter. Basically, it's just easy to feel like you're running on empty with no time to recharge your batteries, and honestly, I think society kind of downplays how hard it is to become a parent. And this is especially true for those of us who have kids a little later in life after we've kind of already established our ideal lifestyles. And that's where therapy comes in. Speaking with a therapist about managing my energy and mood, balancing the responsibility with self-care, and also just accepting this new chapter of life could be hugely beneficial. Now, I've had Find Therapist on my to-do list for like well over a year, but it's hard to actually take time to find somebody with availability and drive to the appointment, and then like, what if it's not a good fit? You gotta start the process all over again. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that makes getting the support you need more accessible and convenient than ever. They can match you with one of over 30,000 licensed therapists based on your unique needs and preferences, giving you access to a wider range of expertise than you might find in your own town. With BetterHelp, you can have therapy sessions via phone, text message, or video chat, whatever works for you. And if your therapist isn't the right fit, you can switch to somebody else at no additional cost. If you're considering therapy, whether to navigate the challenges of parenthood or you're dealing with something else, I encourage you to check out BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/BrockMcGough or select Brock McGough at sign up to get a special discount off your first month of therapy. All right, let's talk about some affordable purchases for the home. First up, Nightlights. Yeah, nightlights, like the ones for little kids' bedrooms. These things are so underrated. I bought a 4-pack of these little light-sensing LED ones, which came out to less than $4 per light. You plug them in and they come on automatically when it gets dark. I put them in the bathrooms and hallways, one in the kitchen, so there's just like a dim ambient light at nighttime. It adds a pleasant ambient feel to your home, and it also makes those nighttime trips to the bathroom or to your kids' rooms much safer. A longer phone charger. Honestly, I kind of thought wireless charging would be a bit more advanced by now. Like, why can't we just send the electricity through the air? And why don't we have hoverboards? I was lied to. The next best thing is longer charging cables. Why buy a 3-foot charger for your phone when you can get a 6-foot one? You know that feeling when you like have your phone plugged in, you're sitting on the couch and you can't quite get it to where you want because the charger is too short? Just get a longer cable. You should have at least one really long phone charger in your home. Flat extension cords. You know when you plug something in behind a piece of furniture and you can't really push the furniture all the way up against the wall anymore because you feel like you're gonna damage the cord? Yeah, I hate that. That's why these extension cords with the flat plugs make so much sense. I don't even know why regular ones exist anymore. Bonus points if you get the kind that swivels too. See-through storage bins. Unless you live somewhere like Southern California where the weather never changes, chances are you probably have some clothes that you only wear during fall and winter, and then other clothes that you wear during spring and summer. I like to store unused clothing, footwear, and accessories in clear plastic bins that slide right under the bed. This is unused space, and honestly, they totally disappear. Like, you can't even see them when you're standing up looking at the bed. They don't add any visual or mental clutter to your life. Plus, if you get the clear ones, you can easily see what's inside each bin. I recommend the kind of long, flat ones because you can stack them up if your bed is high enough. These things are great. Okay, moving on to everyday carry. This is the Casio F105, and I think everybody should have at least one cheap digital watch. If you're not really into watches, this can be your only watch. Even if you're into collecting or higher end watches, this can be your beater. It's cheap. A lot of these say that they're water resistant, but in my experience, they're pretty much waterproof. It's small, it's lightweight, it's battery powered, so it's always powered up, it's always accurate. If something happens to it, it's not a huge deal because it was only like $22. For you watch geeks, the 105 is better than the 91W because it has a full backlight, not that weak little corner light that the 91 has. Highly recommend it. A tiny knife. I never carry like a big EDC knife because I never need one, and I feel like it just takes up a lot of space in my pocket. I mean, even like these knives from Wesson and Kershaw, like they're cool. I keep them in my desk. I'll use them to open packages for unboxing videos and stuff, but I won't actually carry them in my pocket. But a tiny knife, especially one that fits on your keychain, that just makes sense. I mostly use it like just for opening packages, cutting the occasional loose thread, or cutting athletic tape, and other minor laceration related tasks. This Spyderco Bug is the smallest one that I've found. It's pretty cheap and it's served me well for years. Great little knife. Similarly, a small flashlight comes in very handy. I know that our phones have flashlights and for quick tasks they work just fine, but I found myself using like a dedicated flashlight somewhat often. If you get one like this, like you can clip it onto your hat or your shirt or a stroller. So if I'm going for a nighttime walk, I'll take this along. Plus this one just takes a AAA battery, so it lasts forever. You never have to recharge it. It's way brighter than the flashlight on your phone. It's also just really durable. You can drop it, you can get it wet. Actually, I don't know if you can get this wet. I think you can. Anyway, in a world where our phone kind of does everything, but not everything well, I find it's kind of nice to have a dedicated tool like this little flashlight. Last up in this category, a compact umbrella. When it comes to umbrellas, I think that portability trumps size. Because even if you have a really big umbrella, it's still kind of a pain to fit more than one person under it. I like a small, portable, but high quality umbrella. You don't want a cheap, flimsy one that's gonna turn inside out when the wind picks up. I keep this Totes Titan compact umbrella in my car, so I'm never caught without it if an unexpected storm comes in. Bad luck. All right, moving on to grooming. An electric toothbrush. I was late to the electric toothbrush game, but now that I've been using one for a few years, I could never go back. The main benefit of an electric toothbrush, according to data, is that when you use one, you tend to brush your teeth for longer. That's because most of them have a 2-minute timer built in. With a manual toothbrush, almost no one actually brushes for a full 2 minutes. Given that electric toothbrushes are so affordable now, you can get a good one for like 20 or 30 bucks. There's no reason not to use one. On a related note, pick-style flossers. I could never get into the habit of flossing every night, mostly because I don't like using the string floss. Once I switched to the pick-style flossers, the habit stuck. I floss every single night, no exceptions, even when I'm traveling. And I know these aren't as effective as the string floss, but it's way better than just not flossing. Also, with the right technique, they do work really well. I've talked to dentists and hygienists about this. Since switching to an electric toothbrush, using these flossers, and also using a fluoride mouthwash, I just don't get cavities anymore, and I used to get them all the time. An electric shaver. Speaking of efficient grooming, I switched to an electric shaver a few years ago and haven't looked back. Now, I forgot to shave this morning. A little scruffy, a little unkempt looking, probably not the best person to be promoting the electric shaver right now, but the show must go on. Here's the thing, with the electric shaver, your shave is not gonna be as close, so you have to shave more often, but it is so quick and easy, and I also find the electric shaver to be pretty gentle on my skin. And you don't need to buy a $200 fancy one. You can get a really nice one for under $50. I've been using the same one for like, I want to say 5 or 6 years now, and it works just fine. I'll drop a couple links in the description. Adapalene gel. Now, I made a whole video about the benefits of using topical retinoids, so I recommend checking that out if you're not happy with how your skin looks. Long story short, this $10 tube of adapalene gel has had a bigger impact on my skin than any other skincare product I've ever tried. I'm talking clearer, younger looking skin, especially if you're prone to acne breakouts. I used to get pretty bad acne, and I just don't anymore. If you don't have acne, you can just try a regular retinol cream. You don't need the adapalene gel, but either way, you don't have to get like the fancy designer brands. You can just get the generic retinol or adapalene and it works. High quality SPF moisturizer or sunscreen. Living in Southern Arizona, I wear sunscreen, at least on my face, pretty much every day. Normal sunscreen is like thick and greasy. The stronger zinc stuff is usually overkill unless I'm like going to the pool. So most days I'm using a moisturizer with a little bit of SPF built in. I'll link to some of my favorite brands in the description. You know, a high quality SPF moisturizer might run you $15, but it's doing double duty. It's moisturizing your skin and giving you enough sun protection to be out there for a little while. Like I said, if you're gonna be out there all day, use something stronger, but this is money well spent. A glass nail file. Those little metal nail files kind of suck, and the cardboard ones just don't last very long. Spend like $7 to upgrade to a glass nail file. They feel way better, they're just smoother and more effective, and they last forever. They don't get dull, they don't get rusty or bent out of shape. Last up in this category, premium deodorant. I never thought I'd spend $22 on a stick of deodorant, but here we are. This Jack Black Pit Boss deodorant is the best I've found. I actually also included this in my expensive purchases that are worth the money video. The stuff is strong, but it's not irritating, it smells great, and it lasts all day. Don't get me wrong, I'm not above wearing Old Spice swagger, but this stuff is excellent if you're looking for the upgrade. Moving on to feet, orthotic insoles. This is actually another product that I included in the expensive purchases video because they are kind of expensive. Like if you spend $40 or $50 on a pair of insoles, you're like, yeah, that could just go to a new pair of shoes. But these are a great way to get more out of the shoes that you already own. Like especially if you have a pair of shoes that used to be comfortable, but maybe they're not great anymore. Maybe they changed or your feet changed. Before you replace them, try insoles. Recently, I've made a couple videos about trying to find comfortable shoes, so you can go check those out. And I will keep testing out new shoe brands to try to find comfortable and stylish enough options. But I also use these orthotic insoles. I've tried a bunch. I like these Power Steps. I also like the Superfeet medium arch cushion insoles. But honestly, I recommend going to a store and trying out a bunch of them because all of our feet are different and it's pretty subjective. Either way, I do think it's worth spending $30 or $40 to ease pain and avoid long-term health issues. In the same vein, house slippers. I try not to wear shoes inside, at least on the carpet, but I do like a little bit of cushion underfoot. I don't really like walking around in bare feet, especially on like hard tile flooring. And during the cooler months, I like a bit of extra warmth. House slippers take care of all of that. These are actually from Geesewine. These are not under $50. These are like high-end house slippers, but there are so many options in the more affordable price range. I'll link to a few of my favorites in the description, but if you don't have a pair of house slippers, I highly recommend them. Last up in this category, good socks. It's easy to skimp on socks. Like why not just buy multi-packs of whatever cheap cotton socks are on sale? But once you wear high-quality socks, especially wool, it's hard to go back. I like dedicated brands like Smart Wool and Bombas, Features, Swiftwick, Darn Tough. You know, some of these brands like Darn Tough even have lifetime warranties on socks. You know, in my opinion, it's worth spending a few more dollars on high quality socks that will be more comfortable and last a lot longer. Okay, and last category is travel / etc. This Contigo water bottle. Hydro Flask is so overrated. Stanley, don't even get me started. I mean, the standard Hydro Flask model, you can't even use it with one hand. You have to like unscrew the top. It's just a plastic and metal cylinder. Like, why does it cost $50? Get yourself a Contigo. These are the most functional water bottles I've found. Actually, my wife found them and she converted me. You can use them with one hand. You can close the top so they won't spill. Once you open the top, you have to push the button to open the seal. So it still won't spill until you push the button. If you're traveling, you can lock it so you can't push the button, so it definitely won't spill. They have a little carrying handle. You could use a carabiner. They're slim enough to put in your backpack, and they cost like half as much as a Hydro Flask. Contigo. TSA PreCheck. Okay, technically it costs $78, so it's over $50, but that's for 5 years. So that comes out to like $16 a year. And in my opinion, even if you only fly occasionally, that's worth it. I mean, if you fly 3 times a year, that comes out to $5 a flight. I would pay $5 to avoid waiting in line for a half hour, wouldn't you? You're worth it. I also like Clear, which lets you skip the PreCheck line, but I think if you could only choose one, PreCheck is the way to go. A luggage scale. This is like $9, and it'll mean that you never have to pay for an overweight bag or do that awkward repacking at the check-in counter ever again. I actually never really used one of these until we started flying with kids, which means we just had to pack a bunch of extra stuff. All of a sudden, it was very easy to hit that weight limit for checked luggage. If you have one of these, you can weigh your luggage at home, so there won't be any surprises at the airport. Okay, and last but definitely not least, 2 books. Number 1 is The Simple Path to Wealth, and number 2 is The Psychology of Money. This video is about affordable products. It's about saving money or being frugal, but also improving your life. These are the only 2 books that you ever have to read about personal finance. If you read both of these books, you will know more about money than 99% of the population. You'll know how much you have, how much you need, how to get rid of debt, how much you can comfortably spend each month, and how much you have to save to be okay for retirement. And you'll also just feel less anxious about money. It's easy to bury your head in the sand when it comes to personal finance and wealth management, but I promise if you spend 10 or 20 bucks on both of these books, they'll be some of the best investments you've ever made. All right, wrapping up, what did I miss? I wanna know your number 1 recent purchase under $50, so let me know in the comments section. Thank you again to BetterHelp for supporting the channel by sponsoring this video. Check them out at betterhelp.com/BrockMcGough to get a discount off your first month of therapy. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time, stay stylish.